This is Remington Steele. Yes, that's me. Looking at you, I am outside of Games Workshop's headquarters at Warhammer World in Nottingham, the mighty Midlands. And I'm going to do this little battle report from Warhammer World, in which me, Remington Steele, take on the forces of Andy 2D6's Wood Elves. So let's get right into it. Okay. So first up, on the bottom there, you have my forces of destruction. I am the Orcs, or the Orruks. And let's just go from the bottom left here. I have some Savage Orc Araboys, and I have a big boss there on the top of that realm gate. And I'm just going to explain to you in a minute, after going through the armies, what's this scenario all about. Next to them, I've got 3 lovely trolls. And next to them, the indomitable Mangler Squig. Next to them, I have a bunch of Black Orcs. Very mighty indeed, with 2 wounds each. And I have a big boss with a banner there on guarding that realm gate. And to the right of him, I have a bunch of Savage Orcs. I don't think I counted those guys as archers. They're just your basic Savage Orcs with 2 weapons. So what we've got on the other side of the table are Andy's Wood Elves. Well, they're actually my Wood Elves, but I let Andy use them, and it's the first time these beauties have ever seen a field of battle. I mean, I started painting 6 years ago, and bloody hell, I can't believe some of these models they haven't seen the light of day, but they are 30 years old. Some of these models, and there's also Cyril the magical unicorn there at the top. So let's go some more in-depth pictures for you guys. Ooh, what's that? So a bit more of a close-up of the Black Orcs, and this is a kind of a grudge match, really. In the last battle, which is on Andy 2D6's channel, my Orruk forces destroyed a whole series of wildwoods that the Elves were defending, and the Elves have kind of getting a bit of retribution. But to do that, they need to get one of their forces through one of these 2 realm gates, which the Orruks are guarding. They're not having any of it. They're going to make sure the Elves are annihilated once and for all from their realm of destruction. That's my my big boss there. They just love that banner. I'll tell you what, let's get more of a close-up of it. Oh, you beauty, look at that. Yeah, that's a Forge World orc boss. We the best. That's us. Alright, so what else have we got here? Let's just move that along, shall we? This thing lets me. There we go. So let's just look at some of the Wood Elves. So we have some Eternal Guard there in the middle, in the yellow. And they're led by this guy here, who's pretty sound. As you can see, the bases of these models were done with a bunch of potpourri that I found at my mum's house. And after 4 years, the potpourri has kind of gone a bit mouldy. But when I first did these, they were very effervescent, let's say. On the right there, you see some really old school plastic Glade Guard. And at the back there, we've got some War Dancers. I can't remember if we use these as War Dancers, because they don't seem to have any rules for them anymore. Yep, there's my Savage Orcs there with that boss. Ooh, what have I got here? Yep, another shot there. So we're about to move into the first turn. I can't remember who got it, but the Elves kind of moved forward a bit and decided to try and shoot me up a bit. Although you see some Way Watcher models in there, I think only one of them is actually a Way Watcher hero, and he has like some multiple shots going on. But the rest were just your kind of we count them as basic Glade Guard, which was probably a mistake for Randy, because if he wanted to use them as Way Watchers, I probably would have let him, because I think my forces kind of outnumber his, definitely in terms of wounds. But remember, all he has to do is just try and get a unit, and that could be just one model, into one of those realm gates to win the game. So he's got to get forward and into that. But what does he do? Does he spread his forces out, or does he focus on one realm gate itself? Well, let's see what he decides to do. Recognise him? Yeah, that's the mighty Scarlock Wood Elf Archer. And next to them is a gorgeous model, a Wood Elf Standard Bearer. They don't really have these things anymore, do they? But I still have the models, so why not use them, right? And the magical unicorn there, I think I probably would have counted that as a model. If that got through the realm gate, he I would have let him win the game then as well. All right, yeah, you got some old school war dancers there, straight from what, 1987 or something. It's a bit more of a close up of those plastic Glade Guard. I think I was 15 years old when I painted those. It's not too bad, to be fair. Let's go. You see a close up of the Mangler Squid. I mean, this Mangler Squig. Let me say, these guys are just, wow. You don't want to get into a fight with one of these guys when he's on full wounds. Put it that way. So there we go. And on the left there is a very nice Portuguese chap who was very curious, was watching the battle, and he just turned up at Warhammer World with a box of miniatures, and he had I think he had a bunch of orcs or goblins, and we said, look, listen, instead of just watching, why don't you join in? So because he'd never played Age of Sigmar before, so I let him use the Black Orcs in the middle and the Savage Orcs on the right. So I kind of split my forces in two. And he was quite accommodating. Oh, I've just noticed that. On the top left there, you see. Let me go back there. On the top left, you can see some Wild Riders. So Andy has 6 Wild Riders there. I think his tactic was to charge them forward from the off and try and get them through that realm gate. Let's see what happened with that plan. So I think this was to roll to see who goes first, and you can see my famous Remington skull dice on the left there. For some reason, whenever I roll these babies at Warhammer World, I always seem to get the higher rolls, but anywhere outside of Warhammer rolls, these dice suck big time. But the magic's working for me. I get to go first, which is probably bad news for Randy. My Savage Orcs let loose and with their arrows, and I managed to kill one of the Glade Guard there. Next photo, yep, you can see them laughing at Andy's puny Elves. I'm very pleased with those. They come out very nice, I have to admit. Okay, next photo. Yeah, you can see that the Orruk forces have moved forward. Andy really needs to watch out for these trolls, because they have a vomit ability, which I think has a 6-inch range, and it's just devastating, especially against 1 wound models like all of Andy's Wood Elves are. On there, you're wondering maybe what is that soul little miniature there? Well, it's a bit blurry from here, but Andy has the token unicorn miniature. I have the token pygmy with flock on his head, and they're just kind of like totem figures that maybe can, on a roll of a 6 or something, they'll give you a model of wound back or something like that. On the right there, you can see one of the Black Orcs has suffered a wound, which is, he just basically shrugs that off. And here is our gentleman friend there. He's enjoying himself, getting his first game of Age of Sigmar in. And his Wood Elf strike back, let's say. So the volleys of arrows fly out and kill 3 of those orcs straight off. Do you know what? I think some of them run away. How embarrassing. And yeah, okay. So they are the Eternal Guard. They come charging in. He rolls ridiculously high rolls, and he gets the charge in into those Savage or Arab boys, and you can see just annihilates them. And I think the rest run off, actually. Or did I roll 6 dices, needing 6 to save, and actually saved 5 out of 6? And yes, I did cry Remington as I did that. These dice are certainly magical. So I think despite that, the 3 or 4 that survived still ran away, which is a shame. So you can see this photo. It looks a bit chaotic now, doesn't it? But basically the Wild Riders came charging into my Black Orc boss there, and you can see that wound counter indicates I have 5 wounds left. So he must have just got 1 wound off me. And when I strike back, I think I kill 1 or 2 of those guys. In fact, I'll probably kill 3 or 4 of them guys. Wow. Yeah, don't mess with the Black Orc. In fact, I know what happened there. On the left, you can see those trolls have just wheeled to the side and let loose their vomits. And that is just, I don't know, just vaporised those Wild Riders. He might have been better to use those guys in a better way, rather than just doing a direct attack. Maybe, I don't know, coming around the back or coming around the side or something, just to kind of offset the battle a bit, so it's not just all in the middle. Hindsight. So after the orcs puke up, after the trolls puke up, they come charging in and just polish off the last of them Wild Riders. It's an absolute disaster, isn't it, for the Wood Elves right now? And on the right hand side, my Portuguese friend charges in the Black Orcs in that horde, and the Black Orc standard bearer into those victorious Eternal Guard, because although they've killed the Savage Orcs, they're now just going to suffer some retribution from those Black Orcs. And you can see there in the middle, the Mangler Squig has moved on up a bit. And yeah, I mean, at this point, you're wondering how the Wood Elves are going to get through this. Perhaps they should have just hung back a bit. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of looking a bit disastrous on the right there, isn't it? Oh yeah, and then so one of the Games Workshop staff came up to us and says, "Have you seen this? This is we're having a Blood Bowl competition tomorrow, and we're selling these special edition Blood Bowl star players. You get 5 in a pack. I think you get an elf, a human, a Frankenstein, a halfling, and I can't remember what the other one is, but pretty hard to get miniatures now. And managed to get my hands on one. I think it was like £20. And they only made 200 of these, so I looked on eBay yesterday, and these things are going for £50 now, so kind of wish I bought a couple, but hey-ho. So back to the game. You can see the Glade Guard there at the top were more or less intact, but with these trolls having something like 4 wounds each, it's going to be incredibly difficult for those guys to kind of out-shimmy them and get through that realm gate. He's going to have to do some serious realigning of his forces there. Yeah. Well, all those guys have been doing is kind of just trying to pepper off the Orruks, but I don't know. Maybe they're a bit short on numbers. Yeah, you can see those. The battle gets into the thick of it. I think they managed to kill one of the Black Orcs, but the Black Orcs themselves pile in and just devastate. And you can see my controlling the Mangler Squig have gone straight into those elf warriors there. Absolutely destroyed them in one turn. That's got to hurt. Yeah, that's another view from above. I think he's got a Waywatcher hero, and he's the kind of the last man standing up there. And yeah, those Glade Guard, well, the trolls piled in and just annihilated them as well. And let's look at the table now. It's not looking good for the Wood Elves. In fact, I'm like struggling to see if there's any Wood Elves remaining now. So you can see this area here, the trolls have all but annihilated them. I think they've got 1 archer left, and he's definitely going to run away. The Mangler Squig has just charged into them guys, killed them guys, and at the top, Cyril the Unicorn, I don't know what he was doing, maybe he was going to the toilet or something, but he's not really done anything this game. And the archers at the top there, they've just been trying to pepper off some wounds, but you see, there's only 10 archers there, and there's like 18, 19, 20 wounds worth of orcs there. Anyone else get the feeling this game's a bit overbalanced? So that was turn 3, as indicated by the orange dice there. Anything orange on this table, apart from the mangler squig, is an indication of Andy 2d6. It's his favourite colour. And I think that comes to the end of this short but sweet battle report. So yeah, basically, in Age of Sigmar, you kind of got to balance things out a little bit better. I think next time we'll probably get some points going. But it was kind of a short and sweet game. It was kind of funny. Maybe it was a little bit of an unfair scenario. But I've never used the orcs in a defensive way before. And wow, they were pretty good. So yeah, new battle reports coming soon. I think next week I'm going to drive up to Andy's and get my beastmen out and get my famous marauder dwarves out, and we're going to have some more Age of Sigmar fun. So till next time, take care and thanks for watching.